Okay, YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today we're discussing how to select the right daily watch for you. Before I get into these tips though, I do want to give a bit of a disclaimer. Everything that I'm about to say is a suggestion. These are coming from my own personal experiences. These are my opinions on this matter, and I want you guys to take that with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, you can wear whatever you want. We live in 2024. I live in a free country, and you guys are free to make your own choices about what you put on your wrist. But just because you can wear whatever you want these days doesn't necessarily mean that you should. So with that out of the way, let's actually talk about criteria that you should be putting up your possible selection of daily watches against. So the first thing that you need to consider is the size of your watch. So if you are a 5-foot, 100-pound dude with 6-inch wrists, but you absolutely love the 44mm Rolex James Cameron Deep Sea Dweller, perhaps you should find something that's going to be a bit more proportional to your body. That watch may be just a little bit too big. In general, a watch should not look like a dinner plate when it's on your wrist, and the lugs of your watch should not be hanging over the edge of your wrist either. If they are, that watch is simply too big. Now, this is where, larger framed individuals get kind of lucky when it comes to their watch selection, because wearing smaller watches doesn't necessarily hurt the overall aesthetic of your watch, but if you are a smaller dude trying to wear a much larger watch, that is going to look very, very off, and I really would not recommend doing that. So, moving on from that, the second thing that you need to consider is the formality level of your daily watch, your potential daily watch. Are you throwing on blue jeans and a hard hat every day, or are you wearing a business suit or something along those lines? If you're in the latter category, then getting a G-Shock or a Garmin may not be the most prudent choice. You may want to opt for something just a bit more formal. On the other hand, it makes absolutely zero sense to, go for like a Cartier tank or a Rolex Datejust when you're a construction worker 5 days a week, or something along those lines, right? You get the point. Getting a watch that matches your outfit's formality level just brings a bit of cohesiveness to your style that would otherwise not be present. For example, I wear my camis I wear my camis when I'm working, so I primarily stick to wearing my tool watches, which make up the majority of my collection, or my Garmin. But if I'm wearing tactical gear specifically, then I will usually opt for something that is like durability to the max, which is going to be a G-Shock 99% of the time. Should I need to dress up at all, I'll grab my Datejust, which is the most formal watch that I currently own. In my opinion, I think it would just look extremely odd if I paired a G-Shock with a tuxedo. So I really don't recommend that you try that either, because in my opinion, I just don't think that's going to work out for you. The third thing that you need to consider is water resistance. Water resistance is an absolute must for a daily wear watch. It doesn't matter whether you like spending time around water or not. Water is just a fact of life. Our body is just 70% water. In most of the world, it rains. So for the majority of people, water is a factor to consider when it comes to the watch that you're picking for daily wear. So if you're going to get a daily wear watch, my personal recommendation is to have no less than 100 meters of water resistance. There's a reason, after all, that Rolex makes their sport watches minimum 100 meter water resistant. You never know when you might get pushed into a pool or get caught in the rain. anything could happen when it comes to water. You might do something as simple as like washing your hands. And if you have a watch that is not up to spec or the water resistance on it has degraded, then you could end up potentially causing water damage to your watch, and that is very catastrophic. So make sure that your watch has enough water resistance to survive at least getting submerged underwater, especially if you're going to clean your watch with water, like running it under a faucet or something. You want to make sure that the crown is pushed in, the water resistance has been recently checked if it's something you've had for a long time, and also that watch has the capability to be submerged. I really wouldn't recommend going for a daily piece that doesn't have that capability. So enough on that. You don't need a screw down crown. You don't need to restrict yourself to getting only dive watches, but just make sure that your daily wear can get wet. The next thing I want to talk about is versatility. You might love the look of a bright yellow Casio G-Shock, but in my opinion, a black style Casio Duro can follow you into more places. Alternatively, you may have the budget to be able to afford a Big Bang from Hublot at retail, But does that watch really fit anywhere outside of a nightclub? In my opinion, I don't think so. Perhaps you need to pump the brakes a little on that creative expression and just opt for something a little more conservative. In general, if a watch is going to be worn on an almost daily basis, you really need to keep the design just kind of basic. Just follow the KISS rule. Keep it simple. Okay, keep it simple. The reason this is important is because if you select a watch that seamlessly blends into your environment and doesn't call too much attention to itself, on the off chance that someone actually does notice your watch and call it out, it's more than likely going to be a compliment and not a form of judgment or anything like that. Alternatively, if you wear something loud and ostentatious, you might catch some judgment from other people. Or worse, you could become the target of a criminal that might want to rob you. I think some good examples of watches that fit this versatile category are the Rolex Explorer, the Tudor Black Bay 58, the Casio Duro that I just mentioned, or a Timex Expedition. All of those watches, in my opinion, come in at very, very different price points, but they all generally are very simple in design. They're conservative, they're clean, and they're quite versatile. They'll pretty much just go with about any outfit that you put on. They'll look good in a business suit or in a t-shirt and flip-flops, So just make versatility a priority when it comes to a daily watch. The fifth thing you need to consider is price. I have to address it, okay? Like it's just something that has to be addressed. Price is always going to be a factor when it comes to shopping for watches. It's something that's unavoidable, and as we've all seen, watch companies really love raising prices year over year, and frankly, it just drives me insane. But that's the way of the world right now, with inflation being what it is. So if you can't afford it, don't buy it yet. Just save up. Additionally, think about whether or not you can tolerate wearing something extremely expensive on a daily basis. If the watch that you're searching for, that you're considering making a daily beater, is very expensive, then it would be wise to consider whether or not it's actually a good idea to go around in your daily life wearing something that is, extremely expensive, whatever that means for you, whether it be like $5,000, $1,000, or $100,000. Whatever that means for you, just make sure that it makes sense. You don't want to become the target of a criminal. So just keep that in mind. If the thought of that watch getting damaged, stolen, or lost scares you, then just opt for something cheaper. It's not that big of a deal. You can still get that crazy expensive watch later on in the future, but just relegate it to maybe special occasions only. just do something like that. But the last and final point, and probably the most important one for this video that I want to bring up, is to wear what you love. Wear what you love. You can follow all of the previous tips to the letter, but if you don't love the watch that you're wearing, you're not going to want to come back to it day after day. At the end of the day, you need to get something that speaks to you. For example, I like my Explorer 2, which I'm wearing today, not simply because of its capabilities as a GMT, which it has, and it's great at doing those things, but it is a resilient, rugged, and just very clean and simple watch. And all of those things are qualities that, I would like to be able to emanate for myself. So consider what that watch says about you and what it says to you, if that makes any sense. You have to like the watch that you're wearing. Otherwise, you're simply not going to want to come back to it. And while elements of practicality and utility will always come into play when selecting a daily beater, you just need to like the watch for what it is. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I hope this video gave you a little bit of help and guidance as to what watch you want to get next. If you're just getting started out in this hobby, then I do hope that this video has been helpful to you, because watches are an amazing passion to get into, and it's a really rewarding community to be involved in. So again, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. I genuinely enjoy reading everyone's comments and responding to you guys and hearing from you all. So, I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, and take care.